Hello, Tommy.
Hi, Joseph. How you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you. Good day.
Good day. Thank you so much for joining today. So we'll just jump right into it so that we don't keep anybody waiting. Firstly, my name is Tommy. I'm Business Development Manager at Log 10 Media. So glad to have you here. Yes. Today we'll be talking about what influences customers' purchase decision. Is it branding? Is it product function or marketing? And we have three esteemed and thought leaders to help share, we're going to be having an insightful conversation on this today, and we'll decide what really influences people to purchase something. Is it the way it looks? Is it the way the colors? Is it the product function? Is it what it is used for? Or is it, our marketing efforts? Before I go into that, I'd like to introduce Log 10 Media. Like I said earlier, my name is Tomi, Business Development Manager at Log 10 Media. Log 10 Media is a growth marketing agencies for businesses that wish to thrive. We have 4 portfolios: performance marketing, creative media services, content marketing, and growth marketing for founders, for tech startups, and every industry really. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers. Before I go ahead to read your bio, I'd like you to introduce yourselves. Joseph, please. You're on my right, so I think you should go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you, Tommy. Good day, everyone. So my name is Joseph Carlo. I am a digital experience design lead. I, of course, have been designing for a couple of years, I think like 5 years now. Worked across a couple of industry from fintech to um, agri-tech to cryptocurrency. I currently lead design for Kenview, which is a health tech company based in the US, where we are building a very innovative product and all that. And interestingly, before design, I was into digital strategy and marketing.
Nice.
I worked with a marketing agency, BDM Group in Lagos, where we did some amazing stuff for products like JSK, Fan Milk, Lagos State Government, and some other products we help them launch. Yeah, so I think that's a little about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Nice to hear that, you've also been in this marketing industry for a while. But like we're really looking forward to hearing, from you as well in today's session. Thank you so much, Joseph. Over to you, Oluwatife.
So I said my name is Oluwatife Ajayi. I am the founder of Health Asset Global, and I'm big on marketing communication. Most of my career journey has been in the healthcare sector, but I've also worked in other different sectors of industry. And so what I do is, like I said, marketing, communications development, strategy, content planning, content development, and the like. So I think that just summarizes me.
I'm sorry, please go ahead and introduce yourself. We've heard from Oluwatife, we've heard from Joseph, and we just want to hear from you.
Okay, so I'm Harry Otoicheri. I'm a brand marketing executive. I'm also the head of digital at a startup agency where we're focused on building brands using growth marketing and data-driven marketing decisions. I've been in marketing for over 7 years. I've worked with various agencies, and also on the side, I'm building a product focus at helping business owners, especially big businesses, drive influencer-driven campaigns. That's in helping them, moving the entire influencer marketing process, helping them automate the flows, measure metrics, and ensure they generate a return on investment in each of their marketing decisions. marketing is in my DNA. It's everything that I do. I sell before in conversations. I believe so much in marketing because it has the ability to influence the buyer's decision and also the ability to drive brands and brand recognition and awareness globally. So yeah, that's the reason I'm here doing this, and I love it. So
thank you. We're so happy to have you here to share from your wealth of knowledge, right, in today's session. Before we go on, just something to break the ice, right? Maybe not, I would like to know a fun fact about you.
Sincerely, I have no idea. But let's say I love basketball. Yeah. Like even that guy that likes football, I prefer to watch basketball than football. I prefer to do swimming. I prefer to do movies, than parties. I don't know if that's fun, but hey, everybody have their preference.
Joseph, you sound like a staying guy. That's not bad.
Yeah, I stay in. I don't have the strength to go out and start paying bills that I do not owe anybody for. So I just stay inside and save my money.
That's really good. Thank you so much for sharing. Boluwatife, please go ahead. Fun fact about you.
Okay, a fun fact about me. I think I like to be in my head a lot, just imagining things. Sometimes I talk to myself a lot. My friends think it's weird, but I enjoy talking to myself, painting scenarios. Yeah, that's it. And then interestingly, Ari and I were classmates or classmates at Foreign. So it's nice to meet Ari again. Hi, Harry.
So it's good that Lockton is connecting. Well, I don't know if you guys have been in touch, but having Toby here is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Boluwatife. And over to you, Ari.
Okay. So for me, I think one fun fact about me is I like scented candles. When I'm not working, I just put them on. I just listen to music while I drink red wine. I do like my red wine. So yeah, that's it for me.
Harry, that was a cheat code for us. So if we at Lockton need your services, we can just get you a basket of scented candles and wine, and we'll bribe you, right?
Definitely, you got my heart.
Thank you so much for sharing, guys. I know we'll have a very interesting conversation. For our audience, we have some questions. I think a poll will be going up right now. So please don't hesitate. Please fill in the poll and let's see. It's going to influence, our conversations today. It's going to spur some of our talking points today. So please go ahead. I don't know if the poll is up right now. Okay, awesome stuff. So our poll is up. Please do well to answer. And let's see. The first question is, have you ever bought a product primarily because of the brand? Yes or no? Have you ever bought a product from an unknown brand primarily because of its features? Have you ever bought a product because of an interesting campaign or advert that you saw or they did? I think those are the three questions that we have. I think 3 people have answered yes. They have bought a product primarily because of the brand. 2 people have answered that they have bought a product from an unknown brand just because of its features. And 1 person has answered no. 3 people have answered that they've bought a product because of an interesting campaign or advert that they saw. I'll just give this 3-4 more minutes and then we close. Can you see the results? Our speakers, can you see the results? Awesome stuff. So I don't need to read that out again. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. This promises to be a very exciting conversation. Stay put. Grab your chairs and let's jump right into it. So my first question, again, our topic for today is what really influences customers' purchase decisions? And is it branding, the product function, or really marketing campaigns? My first question goes to Boluwatife. You, like you said, you direct communications and marketing at a healthcare brand. that has the goal of shaping and influencing, their behavior. So to what extent, from your experience, to what extent does marketing in itself actually influence the decision making of your audience, of your target people? So let's just hear from you.
When it comes to healthcare, marketing and communication is tricky because there are guidelines that follow, or rules that follow marketing. So there are some things that other brands can do that you can't do, and so you have to be careful. Another thing there is who your target audience are. So for healthcare, let me just take example a pharmaceutical brand. You have different target audience. You have the doctors, and then you have the consumers. So I'll just paint a scenario. Say you are a pharmaceutical company, and then you're marketing in malaria medicine, for example. Your number one target audience are going to be your doctors, actually, because it's not expected that you just take your product straight to the market or to the chemist and start selling it. So for you start with, say, a webinar to introduce malaria itself, in the scenario of your geography, and then you now start talking about what your brand of malaria does differently. So if it's now over the counter, that's when you now begin to see your adverts on TV. Now, does it shape behavioral change? Does it shape the way that people would buy, or people would, purchase drugs? Yes. And that's because you're coming from a different angle. You're coming from the angle of behavioral change. Behavioral change is very big, and it's something that is not yet really cracked to say. So when people talk about products, their product marketing, it's common to hear people talk about, oh, don't talk about the product itself, talk about what the product can do. But now there's a different aspect to marketing, which is actually changing, the perception or the behavior of your consumers. I'll give you another scenario. Say, for example, I don't know if I'm permitted to mention brands. Say a fintech company, and everybody knows that fintech or the financial sector, everybody wants you to open an account, save money, and all of that. But imagine, of which we already have now, a fintech company that is actually big on you changing the way you handle money. So they are big on financial literacy. That's what they are pushing forward. And then, they ask you to learn more about financial literacy. You see that what they are teaching or what they are telling you is actually working. So you're not getting broke at the end of the month waiting for your next salary because of the what they've taught you, or how you've changed the way you're spending money, how you've changed the way you're saving money because of that, learning that you're undergoing with them. And so it also builds trust. So when they tell you to open an account, you're quick to open an account, and they tell you to come and invest money in their investment plan and all. It's quick to, you're quick to do it. It's also what you see with some of those forex traders, and so they will tell you, oh, within when you do this, when you do that, you get this returns and all of that. All of this, it's all tied to behavioral change. Changing the way that people do things, the way that the perception of people towards, how they approach their everyday life activity. Another example I'll give you is even with your fast-moving consumer products. So many times they do CSR, but we know at the end of the day it's just marketing. So sometimes they just have an NGO or NGO do the CSR. But at the end of the day, say for example, now they are teaching hand washing. So the NGO goes and tells the community, learn how to wash your hands in 20 seconds, this is how you wash your hands and everything. at the end of the day, they tell you, oh, use this soap to wash your hands. So if I'm going to the market tomorrow and I want to buy a soap to wash my hands, my first memory is like, oh, I learned how to wash my hands this way because so brand came to teach me how to wash my hands to save me from cholera and diarrhea and all of that. So when I'm going to the market tomorrow, the first thing I'm looking for is for that brand that came to teach me how to wash my hands. So for me, behavioral change is a very big strategy that we are yet to crack when it comes to marketing. And yes, it influences the way people buy products.
Thank you so much, Boluwatife. That was really insightful. I think it's interesting, that. But before I go on with my own opinion or comment, I don't know if Ari or Joseph would like to add anything to what Boluwatife has said. Is it the marketing that has gone into pushing that product is that the reason why would that influence my behavior? So I don't know if Ari or Joseph has anything to add to that point, and coming from, healthcare, behavioral change, marketing for them, what do you think?
Okay, so I quite agree with what Tife has said. She's quite on point. Marketing has a lot to do with purchase decision. It has a lot of influence to purchase decision. When I was in marketing, there's something we call top of mind awareness. When the person thinks of a thing, your product should be the first. If you think of yellow, if you see a yellow color, the first thing that comes to your mind is MTN. That's because MTN has done a lot of crazy market. They don't even need to put their logo on the yellow. Once you see a yellow background, MTN is what you think about. That's the power of marketing. So they're always on your face. They have a good product, and sincerely, that is it. So it's very important for companies to not just. And I think some of our brands, the mistake they make is they try to convert at the beginning or early stage of their product marketing. That should not be the first thing a brand should do. Capturing your audience attention is the first thing. If I like you as a brand, I would definitely use your product and stick to it. So I think I just wanted to add that. I don't know if Harry has something else to chip in.
Obviously, you've done a great job. You guys have done a great job at actually summarizing and hitting the key points. I don't think there's anything for me to add at this point. If I'm going to add anything, it's pretty much me piggybacking on everything you've already said. And yeah, because in as much as marketing is great, the branding approach is also a key beneficial factor. It's something that is important. Just like the way you mentioned yellow and MTN, in as much as there's been enough marketing, there's also been enough branding to capture the mind of the audience. It's putting out your essential brand elements to the point that it's recognized anywhere without having to say a single word. And they've done that so much. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Well said. I agree as well. So still on you, Joseph, you are a product designer. And one of the things you mentioned is, you're very keen on product usability. Please just share with us, how product function has influenced your customer's decision when purchasing an item.
Okay, thank you very much, Tommy. So in the aspect of designing or building products, it's very important that as you build your product, you don't just put business needs at the back of your mind. How much do you want to make? And all that. You also put customer needs at the back of your mind. As a designer, I have a rule that for a user to be able to perform his action, any action the user wants to perform on a product should not be more than 3 clicks. If I click 1, 2, 3, I should be able to perform that action. Once you're going to take a user down a rabbit hole, they get upset and they leave. And that is why if you look at a lot of products that are doing very well in the market, if I'll mention in the fintech space, you have products like Piggyverse, you have products like Paystack, you have products like Carrywise. They are doing extremely well in the market. It's because you don't need anybody to teach you how to use that product. And so you just download your app, and everything you need to do is one click, the next click, and you're done. You want to save your money, 2-3 clicks, and the money is in your app once you're done registering. That is how a good product should be built, understanding what the user wants. I say building a good product is very essential. You must put the needs of your users at the back of your mind. The primary function to which your user comes to the app to perform, there's something called MVP, the minimum viable product when you're starting out. Every big product started with their MVP. Any product, that is the first thing and the only thing the user wants to do. I want to save money. I come, open an account, I add, click on save, input the amount, and I save my money. And then as your product begins to grow, you can now add other features. So it's very important that when you build a product, you put the usability. Users should be able to use your product effectively without having to refer to any material or have anyone teach them. And then secondly, your product must be reliable. Imagine a scenario where a customer wants to save on PiggyVest and the savings did not go through 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Or a customer made a withdrawal, the withdrawal went through, but he did not receive a credit in his account. It happens 1, 2, 3 times. It won't take up to a week and the product will die a natural death. And so you're building for HNIs, high net worth individuals, you're building for the middle class, in any strata of the society, your product must be reliable. This goes from digital products to physical products to FMCG to anything you're doing. If people cannot rely on your product to perform what you promised that product will perform, that is the end of it. Okay, and I think Nigeria is one country that is very poor in terms of service. The truth is, Nigeria is not big on service. And so you cannot get the same day delivery unless you're in Lagos. If you're outside Lagos, just pray to God for them to bring it anytime they feel like bringing it. And so reliability in product delivery is very, very important. Your product must be able to fulfill a need. It will be very futile for any company to come up and want to open a fintech app that help people save money. There is no need for that. We have a lot that are doing that already. And so you will struggle to gain market share. And we have a lot of them that has died off over the years. Post-COVID, a lot of save, recharge, transfer, wallet, app kit, all of them has died off because we already have a market leader that fulfills that need. So those other features, those other products are like features in a market. So if your product must be top of mind and have people that are willing to use them, your product should fulfill a need. I've mentioned your product must have a good experience. It should have a differentiating factor. And then lastly, when we build products, we try to do what we call usability testing and get a lot of reviews on the product. For your product to be trustworthy, it must have a very good review and referral. Word of mouth marketing. What do people think about the product when they use it? What are the challenges they face? And then you try to solve for those challenges. It's very important that when you build or before you release anything to the market, it must have a good review. Thank you.
Very well said. I've learned, 1 or 2 things as well. Thank you so much, Joseph, for sharing that. I was just also thinking as well as you were sharing, if, something, again, like you said, 3 clicks away, that was very, spot on, right? I don't think I'd want to proceed with an app that is stressing me. I'll give easily. Thank you so much. So for Ari, over to you. I have a question for Ari. And that question is, do you think a solid brand can make up for a bad product?
You having a solid brand and having a shitty product, it can only last you for a while. Like, brands are only going to be loyalists for a particular period of time. If your product is not solving their problem, their needs, and it's not actively looking at the user use case and then trying to actually provide a solution to them when they need it, how they need it, you're only going to be the dominant force for a while. And then once a product that comes along that knocks off every single thing that your users are complaining about, they will leave, right? You see that in a lot of field businesses. For me, it was Jumia Food. Sorry, I'm mentioning the name, but it was they played a very crucial role. There was a particular 24th or 23rd of December. I think it was 2023 or 2022. I can't remember. Obviously, I didn't go home. I didn't go out. Family is not illegal, so I needed to order food. I ordered food for like 3 hours, 4 hours, and nobody even responded. I'm trying to get access to the customer service and all of that. They had a strong brand in the market. It's Jumia. They're big. I mean, they're not just only big in Nigeria, they're big in Africa as a continent, right? But I mean, Chowdeck came and, give us, delivery at the speed of light. Both Food tried something like similar, but the same thing happened because they didn't solve the active user problem. Irrespective of how excellent your brand is, people would always go with the David in the field, in the case of David and Goliath, and that actually solves their problem, and that's it. I mean,
yeah, I think we need apps or products that solves our problems more. A bad product is a bad product, whether you have a solid brand or you have a wild marketing campaign. Just let your product just be good. I think that I agree with everything that you have said. Thank you so much. There's a question I'm putting out to the three of you, and the question says, have there been times that your decision was totally swayed by the brand, that you ignored the product and the advertising? So over to you, Joseph. Let's hear from you. And you can share a story we'd like to hear if it applies to you.
So the only time my decision is based on the product without brand and marketing, I think I work remote, and then I wanted to send money to someone in Egypt. I didn't know that Western Union could do that at the speed of light. I've never seen a Western Union ad. They must have been advertising, but I've never seen it. And then I just thought, why not let me see how Western Union works. And all I have to do was input my email address, input my phone number, register, and then put the person's name, put the person's phone number, put the amount, and then that was it. Send. I inputted my card, and in less than 30 seconds, they told me that the person is ready to receive the money at the branch in Egypt. All he has to do is go with his ID card. That's crazy, man. I never knew that. Like, wow, such a product exists and you guys are not shouting it over the roof. Of course, Western Union is big, so they're not a startup that they're looking for customers, but that is wild. There was no, I think the fee they charged me was just €1 to send over 1,000 euros. That's crazy. And trust me, I'm a live customer. I've downloaded the app and I'm hooked for life. So necessity has driven me to discover. I just had to do a Google search. So it's also important that as a product, if you don't have the budget for marketing, you don't have the budget for branding, at least try to have a good search. Because if I'm in that scenario, I want to send money to Egypt and every other company is frustrating me, the next best thing I do is to go to Google and search, and then try I try the first page options and see which one is better. So if you have a good SEO, you have a good blog post to explain the steps, all those things are like things that add to SEO. They are literally there for you to do on Google. I think it's a good use case for small businesses. So I think that's the case for me, how a product was able to blow my mind without marketing, without branding or advertising or all that.
Thank you so much, Joseph. That was really interesting. But I think that in your case, it was you prioritizing products or being swayed by products as opposed to branding without knowing about the product.
So I have another use case for that. There's a product that has failed. I will call them out any day. Payday. Payday had a lot of potential. Oh my God. they did a lot of branding on Twitter. Their CEO was king of branding and marketing on. I've never used the product before, and everywhere you go online that period, payday. You want to send money abroad, you want to receive your money from abroad, payday, until I generated payday. I received money that did not come. And then you start pursuing their customer service and start calling this one, and that was the end. I'm happy. Let me not say I'm happy they failed, because that's bad. But come on now. It was a good marketing. They had the sweet branding. Their website was dope, but it is what it is.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for sharing that. You're shaking some tables, eh? But from our audience, someone says, what attracted me to buying a cookie was because the branding looked like Super 2 and I bought it. And I regretted that decision. It was like sand, threw it away. Branding would only attract once. If the product is shitty, it is shitty. Sorry for that language. Thank you so much for sharing. Please keep your comments coming in. Over to you, Ari. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, man. I think everybody that knows me know that I'm an Apple fanboy. I've been a big believer in Steve Jobs and his story behind the Apple ecosystem. Basically, wanting to put products in the hands of every user alive. And I got hooked. It was just the movie Jobs that enabled me go into the eye of the mind of an average Steve Jobs, and I'm sold for life. I've been in the ecosystem for more than 5 years, and I think I'm going to do that for a lifetime. It's just not just the products, it's the experience, it's the entire ease of use that comes with adopting a particular product. So that's I have my mind at rest that this is going to function the way I want it to function without stressing myself. At WWDC, I registered for WWDC. I watch all the entire keynote speakers and everything. I'm so much invested in the product because it is making my life easier. And one thing I know that for every single person that is close to me at heart, I always preach the Apple message. It's that or not. So I started off as a C# programmer. Believe me, I love Windows so much, right? Loved it back in the build, did something amazing. As a programmer, I wanted to develop programs that were running on the Windows ecosystem, but after a while, I just hooked, and it is me for life. It's a case of when a product meets branding and then exceeds your expectation based on the fact that they do the simplest things so well that it becomes the norm to you. And then when you don't see it replicated in other products, it's kind of like a disconnect in your mind. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ari. Boluwatife, please share your experience or what you think about that.
Good. What Harry said makes sense, provided the product is very good. Like I would say, everybody has a different reaction or response to different products, even though we are using the same product actually. Well, for me, there was a product or an organization I tried for some things, basically because of what I saw on social media, and then I felt like I believed the message on social media, but it was a case of what I ordered versus what I got, and it wasn't a good feel at all. It wasn't a good feel at all. And there's the other products that I tried basically because of branding, and yes, I also enjoyed. I'm trying not to mention names, but there are also other products I tried basically because of branding. Like, any people know me, I'm a curious person, so I'll try this and try that and hope that they don't kill me. But then, when you see a product that has a very good packaging, a good branding, you try it, it's good, you're hooked, like Harry said. But when you see a product that has a good branding and then the service is, what is all this? And then you start wondering where they lost it and all. You don't want to go back to that product, but then makes your mind wonder what could have gone wrong, what they could have done better, and all. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Tife. I mean, do we want to add anything? It says a good product might remain invisible without the right marketing, and the right marketing might yield zero returns because of bad product. What do you think of this statement? I'll allow anybody to take the floor.
Okay. So no matter how exceptional your product is, the product space, I've seen exceptional product, like blown, like when they told me about it, like, wow, if this thing hits the market, it's gonna be for where they're packed up. So why did they pack up? You release that product, it's exceptional, it's big, like it solves a need, but at the same time, nobody knows about it. And if people do not know about your product, you're going to make sales, they're not going to use it. And without sales, the product will die a natural death. Because, of course, money is the life, is the blood of any business. And so it's kind of like intertwined. You have to have a good product. At the same time, if you have a bad product and you have a good marketing. Example, in recent days, we've seen most of the headline sponsors of a certain very big show that went all out and then did very good marketing. They got a weight or a lot of users flocking their business to patronize them. And what has happened? They could not sustain that momentum. So that is the other side of having a product that is not good or not that good or doesn't meet expectation, and then you go ahead to pump a lot of money into marketing. You're going to have a flood of people, a crowd coming to your business, and you know how this thing works. They give you people have very short attention span. If I want to order something and you don't fulfill it in a certain number of time and you have competitors, I go to your competitor ASAP. If I send an Instagram vendor a DM and he or she doesn't respond in 5 to 10 minutes, as I'm leaving that DM, Instagram is showing me another ad of that same competitor, and I'm going to the person's page. That's how it is. So you might have a good product, a bad marketing or no marketing will not make that business succeed. You might have a very terrible product and marketing exposes your bad side and the product dies. So it's important that for a product to succeed, let me go from product to small businesses, because I know most of us here own small businesses, Instagram businesses. There are things you must put in place. Your product has to be good. You see how they call out Instagram vendor for selling fake human hair. I bought a perfume, a very good Tom Ford perfume that I thought was an original brand. Like the lady sold it for me at the price of the original. You know how expensive Tom Ford is. I got it. It came with a very amazing packaging. Like she put her name, put a note, put testers. When I traveled out, I went to the mall, a Tom Ford stand, and what is smelling, the scent of the Tom Ford in the Tom Ford stand smells different from what I have at home, and it was embarrassing. Like I just threw it away, and that was a waste. So that's and from that day, I've never patronized her. I deleted her contact, and any of my friends that want to get something that big, I just tell them to order from the business, from the founder and the company directly. So that is it. She's lost a customer and lost a lot of referrals. I think that's a good use case.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I'm really sorry. I apologize on behalf of the vendor. I'm so sorry. A good product might remain invisible without the right marketing, and the right marketing might yield zero returns because of bad product. I think Joseph has, done a really good job, sharing his own view. But what's your view about that? Tife, would you like to answer that? Just share your thoughts about what you think.
Okay. So, yes, my case is on a good product that's not doing well when it comes to marketing. So there's this deodorant that I use, and the first time I would get that deodorant was like 2015. And so when I got the deodorant, I started looking for it in the local stores and supermarkets, and then I couldn't find it. And so I reached out to the brand and said that, I can't find this deodorant. Actually, it was the marketing manager's contact. So I reached out to him and he was like, hey, you find it in bigger stores and all. And okay, fine. So you go to a bigger store and you know the way they arrange stuff, like they arrange goods, and then you don't see it on the first shelf, you don't see it on the second shelf, and then you see it under, and then it's like you're picking, it's not giving a good feel. But the deodorant is very good and all. So it's, I don't know, the marketing wasn't there for me. I think what happens most times is, marketing is expensive, good marketing is expensive. I know even on our group, on the class group, Harry and I belong to, keep talking about, we see all those marketing strategies, and we're all like, wow, what if you try this, what if you try that? And then they have to come back to reality, like, marketing is expensive, the budget. And then as a marketing manager, you go with this big idea, and when you present it, your boss now comes back and asks you, what is the ROI? What is the return on investment? And you're like, well, you see, we might. And they're like, nope. So I think the first thing we need to understand, and not just us here, because marketing managers, if you tell them that, oh, okay, come up with a never before seen marketing idea, they will come up with one. But then you have to have a never before seen marketing budget. You have to create that big budget. And it might not always work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that the marketing was a failure. Maybe there were some things that, some unforeseen circumstances and all, but that doesn't mean that, it's still not top of mind to the audience. I'll give you an example. Say it's a Bridgerton movie. Everybody's talking about it. I've never watched it before, but I see the old marketing campaign and all. It's interesting. I go to Netflix and I'm like, should I try that? No, that's not my kind of movie anymore. But, it's big. People want to participate. You see people dressing up like princesses and princes and all of that. And that's because Netflix or the movie producers and all have pumped in so much money to create that kind of awareness for their products. Now, if I am a movie producer and I want that same kind of ROI like Bridgerton, and I'm giving my marketing manager, say, because I'm very generous, 100 million naira, I can see that I am daydreaming a bit, but we need to come to reality. So yeah, that's what
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, Tife. I think we can all relate, but for me, I think there has to be a right balance between good products, good marketing, right? I think we can all relate to the movie side of things. There's wild marketing about this movie that is in town. It's all over the place, and then you now get to Netflix, watch the movie, and you're like, ugh. But I feel like to even foster the reputation of such, any product owner or product, it just has to be a right balance, right? Thank you so much for sharing. You're back, Ari. We don't know if you'd like to share your thoughts. A good product might remain invisible without the right marketing, and the right marketing might yield zero returns because of bad product. What do you think about this statement?
So yeah, the first one is true. The second one, not so true in the case of where you can get user sign up, but lifetime value of a user on a particular product doesn't actually it won't be on a great site, because most users sign up, log into the product, see how it is, and then they log out, and that's it. Cost per conversion has also been gotten for the brand, but at the same time, they just have a bunch of users on the platform without actually converting or taking the final, final action that they want in that lifetime journey of a user on the platform. I mean, for instance, I have seen those cases. I've been in the situation where the marketing was great, the product was not at the best. For instance, there was a startup I was working with a couple, I think a couple of years back. Let me just say it's been up to, let's just say 8 months, some months back. They had an amazing marketing campaign, great product launch. We did a massive PR. People were excited about it, but then the product was not fully fleshed out. So obviously we saw a lot of sign up, a lot of people engaging, a lot of people interested in the product. They came into the pipeline, but they didn't stay long because the product wasn't actually finished state. And yes, also I believe, like Joseph mentioned earlier, sales, what's the word? Money or conversion or sales actually is the bloodline of any business. And I say marketing is the veins through which you actually get the blood passed through. Because at the end of the day, you need to make noise about a particular product before people use it. There's a particular product I use right now, still advertising, free PR. So we know Calendly, I use KOM, the alternative. It's freemium, it works, it's very functional. But according to the CEO, they are literally just building it and they're scaling at large. You know how they were bootstrapping at one point, but now they're like, let's take our marketing serious. But while we're still bootstrapping, I randomly stumbled on them because of upvotes. So there was a site where, literally, like a trend. You see the most the new apps that are open source on the internet that are alternative of a particular product that is popular, and I stumbled down and said, oh yeah, this actually fits what I'm currently looking for. Calendly was way expensive and I wasn't using it every time. I just used it for short-term meetings. I needed to have a long time schedule without having to break it into two parts. And then I wanted the app that has access to my Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, Zoom, and then other features all in one. So I just use it, and then everything. I know that I'm not giving you separate links. I'm just giving you one link, and then you select the app that fits best for you. So yeah, and it worked perfectly fine. I've been using it for a while now. I recommended it to a couple of my friends that are in the industry, and yeah, KOM is the name for Hannah that you asked. So yeah, something like that. And then also there are cases where Joseph's case of sending money, I also used letterback.co to send money. It was the same thing. I wanted to pay my school fees at that time. The school was in the UK and I didn't want to go to the Malam. I didn't have stress for that. I just used them. They had like a sender before Flutterwave launched theirs, and it worked perfectly fine. I just converted the money, and then it got in pounds, and I got an email follow up that said, oh, we received our money. And I was like, oh, works fine. So now if I want to send money to anybody in the abroad, US, UK, and Canada, I just use it and it's super fast. They get it in minutes. So
thank you so much for sharing. And Loki, Harry, you're promoting another alternative to Calendly. Thank you. Still on you, Ari.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, this is more like an advice to product owners. So let's say I am a startup founder. I'm a founder for a fintech startup, right? It has to do with a lot of obviously people's money, and I have the right product function 100%. But for one or two reasons, people still don't trust me. Obviously, I'm just starting out. What do you think I can do to gain people's trust? So it's more of like an advice to me and other people that may be listening.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat that?
So I have I'm a startup fintech, right? I have a good product. Function is great, satisfies your users' needs. I mean, I've built it to the point that I think it's great, right? But for a reason or the other, people don't trust me because obviously it has to do with money, finance. It's quite tricky. What would you advise me? How would you advise me as a business to convert? I mean, what would you advise me to do? What can my business do to convert more users? Do you get questions?
Yeah, I mean I do. It's all about building your brand. Recognition. First of all, you need to ensure that you have fleshed out your brand to a point where your the consumer pain points and all the necessary touch points across the product cycle, to then effectively communicate that with your communications, putting out there. So most people go the newsletter route. That's for if they want. Most people go the blogging route just to create searchability for that will meet the consumer at the time that they're searching to solve a particular problem. And then most brands nowadays, most brands that are growth focused are now going the the podcast routes, like putting out enough content that meets their consumers at the time when they're actively looking for their problems to be solved. It increases your thought leadership in this space that, okay, this person knows, or this brand knows what they're talking about, and they're actively, they can, build up there. And then at the same time, also want to increase your brand recognition. You want to know that you are recognized in this space. How do you do that? The events, sign up for events that you can go out so that people can actually interact with your products live without having to use that. And then those brand collaterals, everything that you collect, the pictures, the images, the videos, have it put up on your page, because I believe people want to have like a personal feel of products or brands before they usually interact with them. That's what most Nigerian startups were not doing in the past. We're just launching products and then putting it out there and then marketing a hell out of it so that it's in the face of everybody. But then most people are now in the sense they're not in the space where we know that it's not just about marketing. It's about your community. It's about the questions that you're actively answering. How focused are you on the average user problem? How connected are you with the average Joe using your product? And then how much feedback do you take and you receive back as a product owner, and then implement, and then also give us advice on how we can go forward? Because in the space, it's not just about the product, it's also about the consumer. You need to be focused on that too. We make great products because an average founder or an average CEO or an average business owner is more focused on their business, sales, and their products. They're not really necessarily thinking about that. I had a conversation with my friend earlier. We're complaining about the internet situation in Nigeria. We know that obviously almost all the network providers are just dropping packages to ensure that they get users, like reducing the price, slashing the price, promote days, and all of that. But that our problem is not about the data. It's about the quality of the data, the core access of the internet that I have at that same time. And the same thing offers with the same business. Like, it's not just about your business, it's about how quality of your services are, how great is your customer service experience. If I want to send an email, do I have to wait 5 hours, 2 days, 3 days to get a response back from that? Those necessary touch points that you have to focus on to ensure that the user has a seamless experience. Then the business will set itself. Your brand, your users will be loyalists, and it's literally free marketing. I just came on this live session, and I sold 2 products that I've gotten dear to my heart, that I will for the rest of my life click and loud and always talk about them, because why? They made my life easier. And this is more than how many people that are on this live session, and also people that are also going to be watched this. So that's it. It's free marketing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know if Joseph or Tife would like to chip in. Just add to that, just like an advice, content marketing, SEO, have a good product, good customer, relations, service, right? Would Joseph or Tife like to chip in? We move on to the next.
Okay. Okay, for me, I would say, I'm coming from a KOM perspective, and I would say that you want your communication to be transparent, and you want it to be accessible. So, take for example, we've already mentioned the brand now, PVVEX, and number one thing I say about them is that they understand the trend, they understand who their target audience are, they understand what they want in terms of accessibility, in terms of transparency. So if we are going to do anything, they're always going to send a newsletter. It builds that trust. Like, even when I go online and I see maybe PVVEX is down or anything, I'm like, I have to back up, because they'll let you know, oh, we're down, You're coming back in like 30 minutes, 1 hour, so you're at rest. And then even if there's a fake news, they are quick to tell you, oh, this is, it's not correct. This is so they are not defending. They're actually telling you this is how things are and everything. And then they also know the trend. So, today is the last Friday of the month. For some organization, it's payday. So I won't be surprised if I get a weekly notification from the app that, make sure you save your money before you go and flex this Friday. So something like that. It builds that trust for you. And then accessibility also. So you still using the brand, you tag them on X and they are quick to respond. Unlike some of our major financial houses where you tag them and then you tag them again and then you tag them again and then you want to go to the DM and then it's just very stressful. So, yeah.
Okay. So I think Harry said something in the passing that I want to stress on. Your question was about small businesses that are not starting up. I think we underrate the power of community. For a business that doesn't have marketing budget, build community. If I want to receive, there's a product I use to receive payment. When I was in Nigeria, when I got my first international gig, the first thing I did was to go to my design group and ask who knows a product that can help me receive money from this country. And because I trust people in that group, they have been working remote, they have been receiving money. And so any product they see is what I use. That is the power of community. And so community builds word of mouth referral. As a small business, there was a logistic company I was giving some advice to. Logistics is everywhere. Everybody wants to do logistics. But what I told them is this: if you have someone that gave you an order, collect the person's contact, save the person's contact, and then ask the person to save your contact. Food business is very, very lucrative. I also give that same advice to a lady that is selling in a restaurant. All your customers have their contact, save it, and tell them to save your contact. Every morning, post your menu. The logistic business, they do more food delivery than regular logistics delivery. They have vendors that they collect these images for, and they post breakfast, lunch and dinner. I don't leave my house because for me to go to the restaurant I want to place an order and then come back to my house, it will cost me at least 3,000 to 5,000 naira. But for these guys to deliver it from that restaurant to my house is 1,500. So why would I want to leave my house to go pay 5,000 when I can give them 500 naira service fee and still pay them 1,500 for delivery and they bring it to my house? Simple. And that is the power of community. WhatsApp is a big place for us to build community. As long as people are seeing your post, it's a private one-on-one. I come, I view my status, I see your post, and you're like top of mind. If I want to order food, I don't even bother going to any app. I just go to their DM and ask them, do you guys have a vendor that have this food? Because I know that they're delivering to me faster and cheaper than child egg. That is a small business that has carved a niche for themselves. They don't run ads on Instagram. All their customers have their contacts saved. And so they always bombard you with food, new items for you to order. They're even doing Saturday shopping. So rather than you go to the market, they will go to the market, give them a market list, send them money, and they just charge you 500 naira service fee and you pay for delivery. And that is it. They are running effectively. These are like offerings that community is super important. Okay. So as a startup founder, rather than burn thousands, you have great product, rather than burn thousands of naira or dollars on marketing that people will not even trust. Because personally, I'm very careful with the kind of fintech I allow my card in and my money in, because of course security is very important on the internet. But if Harry recommends a product for me, I trust Harry has used the product, I would definitely want to try it out. And imagine as a founder, I have different tech people, because tech people belong to communities. hey, I'm not sure there's anybody in tech that does not belong to a community. If I have like 50 different tech people in different tech communities that have at least 1,000 members in those community, I have them use my product for free. I onboard them as ambassadors. Let them use the product. I don't charge them for using my product. What happens? By the time they have anybody in that community that needs my service, they will effortlessly recommend that service. And then I have a wider audience that my product has reached. There's a product that is doing that very good. They are very bootstrapped, and they are doing amazingly well. And I wish they would continue doing that, because I don't want them to close anytime soon. They're my lifesaver. Figma has become a household name for design, because Figma does not pay their community, but those guys are addicted. If you're a member of Figma community, it's as if it's an achievement. I don't know how they did that, but that is the power of community. Apple, I'm a strong advocate for Apple. Apple has a great product, but they also have a great community. Piggyverse has a great product. They have a great community. So how do you build a community? Feedback. So it's not just about telling people to talk about your product, but you make a complaint, and then the next time you're going to the app to update the app, that feature has been updated. It makes you feel as if you're part of the company, as if the company was built for you. And that's how you get customers for life, and then get them to refer your business. And then by the time you decide to do marketing, you have a lot of people that have like, oh, this person, I've heard about this from here and I've used it before. You go to Piggyverse. If somebody goes to Piggyverse and drop a negative comment, Piggyverse don't need to respond. Other people will come and counter that comment. That is the power of community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think our audience would have learned one or two things from everything that we have said today. We have about 15 minutes. I think we've had a very interesting conversation. I've enjoyed myself, and I know our audience also also enjoyed this conversation so far. But to just wrap this conversation up within the next 10 minutes, I have a question here. I think we've sort of answered it, but I'll still, put it out in case anybody wants to share their opinion. Now, this is considering target audience. So it's saying, do you think income level, educational level, and other related things can determine which of these factors influence customers' purchase decision? For example, will someone with minimal income buy for the same reason a person with more disposable income is buying? Yeah, I think Harry's nodding his head. Harry's shaking his head. So let's hear from you.
I mean, yeah, it's very important to. So for me, most marketing campaigns, I target income level too, because it depends on the product. You can't sell a luxury product to a entry level. What's the word? Career entry level person. It differs. Obviously, we can't afford it. It's not necessarily that it can't, but it's just that. Can I afford it sparingly, or do I have to? It's different when you're selling to a particular, income bracket. So you don't have to say too much. The product is fine. Does it solve the use case? Does it solve that problem at an active? And then, how is the product use case applied to their life? You just need to tell them, oh, this is a bottle of water. You're basically readily exposed to the Nigerian ecosystem or the Nigerian weather. This bottle of water will make you fresher. You just say, oh, how much is it? Then push, they can copy it. But then if I'm marketing to a particular income level, I need to tell you, oh, this water is great. It's amazing for you. It is good enough for you. Then it just makes the process a little longer than it is. That's in some situations. Obviously, I won't use one situation to just classify everything as or you go general with that. Yes, it's very important to know who you're marketing to, how much you can afford to pay for a particular product as a business owner, because we see some business owners launching a particular product and they're like, oh, this is who I'm targeting. They get their targeting wrong. You need to get your targeting right. You need to ensure that you are selling to a particular target audience, and you need to also know that you have data to back your marketing decision, because it's not just about getting developing a product or having a product. It's also understanding who you are targeting, where they are, how they speak, and also how to approach them with your product offerings, because it's very important, right? So yeah, that's like super. You can't sell a 50 to 30,000 naira meal for, let's say, somebody that is running a meal delivery company. You're in your kitchen, you're selling or you're packaging foods, or you have like orders your food bundles where you have like rice and shawarma and stuff like that, and you just have like a package bundle where you're selling for like 50,000 naira to 60,000 naira. Maybe you have like fruits and other things that makes it exciting, and you want to sell it to university students. They're not going to buy, because obviously I can just go down the street and buy fruits 300 to 1,000 naira, go there, buy rice 1,000 to 1,500, and everything is not going to be more than 10,000 naira thereabouts. I'm just saying, just in case. So obviously you need to know that, okay, I'm selling to people that are, in their houses, are working from 9 to 5, that are making a particular amount of money and they cannot leave their house. So obviously I'm giving the product I'm selling to them is I'm easing their stress. Because me, normally I eat out. So because the reason why I eat out, and the reason I've given myself to make it realistic and sound a lot nicer, is because I tell people I calculate my hourly rates, and I ask myself, how many hours am I going to spend cooking this meal? I'm going to spend more than 5 hours. That's like equivalent to this amount of money that I'll use to actually make more money. So why not I just order food and I get it in 25 to 30 minutes? I've saved myself time and I've made myself more money while waiting for the food. So that way it sounds better to me. So I can afford to do that. Somebody else cannot. So yeah.
Spot on. Thank you so much, Ari, for sharing. Anybody wants to chip in? Anybody else?
So Harry have said most. He has finished everything. We must understand that income level, educational background are related factors that influence users' preferences. It influences users' decision making. It influences their priorities. Okay. Using Nigeria as a case study, there's a reason why we have sachet for almost everything. These people have studied the market. That I think there was a point where Peak was the premium brand. If you're drinking Peak milk, you're among the big boys. And then Cowbell was for the masses. I think a certain president even used Cowbell sachet for campaign when we tried to drink it. I feel like, oh, he's identifying with the masses and all. And so we've come to a point where the other day I saw Bailey's in sachet. You can imagine that. So they are trying to create a segment for these certain people in an income level. The truth about marketing is, no matter how, if in specifically in FMCG, when I was working in marketing, if you're in FMCG and you are targeting the lower income brand, you need to sell in volume to be able to break even. You need to sell a lot of product because they don't have money. You can imagine buying something for 10 naira or 20 naira. How many do you want to sell to be able to break even to the cost and all that? So understanding your user, understanding your target audience, and that's why some of these very big companies, one of the company I work for, we have a specific market department that's in charge of user research. We have professors that are behavioral scientists that do research and then give us data. Okay, they are very big in research to understand who the user is, what their purchasing power is. The reason why most of these companies are now sachetizing everything is because they've done the study. For us to be able to appeal to this market, we can't sell the same amount of. The Nigerian middle class is shrinking. We now have the rich and the poor. So someone that can easily go to a club and buy Baileys for 1.5 5 years ago can no longer afford to do that. So why don't we sachetize it for him so he can still enjoy his favorite drink without breaking the bank? That is good market strategy. So it's important for every business, small business, startups, large business, to understand the market segment and their offering, what you can afford. If you do your costing and you discover that the lower radar of the economy, you can't cut out to that market, focus on luxury, brand yourself for luxury, do your marketing for luxury. If you want to focus on the masses, do your branding for the masses, your advert, your campaign, and everything. Educational level. A company like MoneyPoint, OP, was able to break into the Nigerian market because they understood educational level, using people that are on the street. They have a very vast network of community people that are on the street. They train them, no matter the language you speak, no matter educational level, for you to be able to relate to that woman that cannot speak English. They are not in Lagos running ads on Ikoyi billboard and then trying to unbank or bank the unbank that is in Gombe. They went to the grassroots because of market research. So these are like important factors. They're intertwined. Understanding them will save any business. Don't just do one type of marketing and expect people to buy it. Who is your target audience? Where can you find them? What can you say to them to make them understand your offering and use your product? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Interesting points, really. Interesting points. Thank you so much, everyone. We're gonna leave room for questions, but I think that we've come to the end of the questions. I have a teaser just to properly wrap this up, right? And it's like a rapid test. I need everybody to maybe unmute. It's gonna be, I'm gonna mention some products, and you tell me what influences your purchase decision. This is personal now. Personal to you, Joseph, personal to you, Ari, personal to you, Tife, right? We have a question which we'll go to, but what influences your purchase decision for a laptop, Joseph? I know you've said something about a laptop. Branding, product function, marketing.
Efficiency and speed. And that is why Apple is my go-to laptop. I love Apple products. I can just pick them and go to anywhere I want to go to.
Awesome stuff. So I will say I'll pick. I think that relates to product function, right?
Yep.
So for Ari, mention something that you said you love your wines. What would influence your purchase decision for getting a new brand of red wine or scented candles, for example?
Product benefits and also packaging be interesting. Yeah, obviously you need to pick it up and look at it and oh, this looks pretty. And then sometimes also pricing also plays a part. There's also something at the back of our head that tells us the more expensive the wine is, the sweeter it's going to taste. So it's like yeah, obviously. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Tife, what influences your purchase decision for getting a healthcare plan?
For getting a healthcare plan, it would be the same thing like Ari said, what they offer and how much it is. Because we have different healthcare plans, different brands that offer the same healthcare plans, but not the same price, not the same cost. So yeah, so the benefits and also price.
We have a question in the chat box from Peace. Peace says, what role does storytelling play in marketing? And how can it be used to create an emotional connection with users that drives decision making? Can you cite examples? Should I go over the question again?
Yes, please.
What role does storytelling play in marketing? 1, how can it be used to create an emotional connection with users that would drive decision making? 2, and can you cite examples? 3.
I think I'll use a particular brand that does storytelling very beautiful. That's Nike. Nike is not just they don't sell shoes, they sell experiences. And you literally picture yourself in the shoe before you buy it. Air Jordans is a story of Jordan. It gets you hooked in a way that it's not just a brand that you're buying the benefit. So when people see when that's what in a way it kind of helps you defend your why for buying an expensive product. For instance, if you're like you'd be like, oh yeah, I mean I bought this product because it helps me. When I wear the shoe, I feel so comfortable. I can wear it around. But then at the back of your mind, you know that you didn't buy it because of that music or that product benefit. You bought it because of the story was compelling enough to you that you picked it up on the shelf and you're like, oh yes, I can connect with the brand story. That way it's just beautiful. It becomes more than just a shoe. It becomes a movement. It becomes an experience. I think the storytelling approach has transcended beyond just selling shoe to becoming they're more so a lifestyle brand. Same thing for me was for Under Armour brand when what's his name? Stephen Corey literally told us a story about how, the other companies that he signed up, he told them he wanted a particular Bible verse on the shoe. And then Under Armour were the ones that said, oh yeah, we'll get it done for you. And they did that. And I was like, okay, interesting. For a while, I did follow up the brand until the point that I couldn't, my preference changed because of the whole I decided to try on something different. So yeah, storytelling is very important. I think it's I say content marketing as to storytelling is the cheapest form of marketing because it's the story that you are telling that converts the user at the end of the day. It's the newsletters you are sending out. It's the way you're captioning your picture. Like it's your tonology or your tone online that invokes a user emotion, and they want a user attached an emotion to a brand. That's literally where you are. Like you've sold them for life. You've gotten them because now I can associate a brand with a particular a particular emotion that is on the inside, like a smell or a whatever it is. So that's it, or a sound. Just like the Netflix you hear that sound and you know that this is Netflix, and it's more than that. It's psychological and it's subconscious, and therefore that you get to get up hooked. Like you see a movie by Netflix and you're like, oh, this movie is going to be great because it's a Netflix original, that kind of stuff. So
I'm sorry if I can just chip in a bit there. Recently, I was speaking to some KOM executives, and I think we all came to an understanding that empathy plays a big role when it comes to storytelling and actually building emotions with your audience. So it's going to be great if you know what your audience are, empathetic towards, what can trigger that emotion to them. So when you get that, then you find out, you start building your tone or your communications or your marketing strategy around that. You build your story around that so that they can easily relate to. Just like Harry mentioned, Nike. It also works even for us in the healthcare sector. It's not just going people to tell. It's not just going out and telling people, "Oh, you need to get the vaccine." It's building the story that drives people. Like when you tell the story, like, "Okay, so I need to get the vaccine." That empathy just plays a very good role there. So I think once you get what the audience are empathetic about, you get your deep bridge.
Thank you so much, Tife. I think what comes to mind, even when I'm thinking about this question, is how, UNICEF, for example, UNICEF is an NGO, how they tell their stories and they just for you to donate. Even if you don't even have that money, you're just thinking, and the story you just connect to that story, right? Just take out my money, right? So yeah, I think that question has been answered. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Joseph, for sharing out of your wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Thank you so much, Boluwatife, for bringing in on that awesome marketing comms perspective to this conversation. And thank you, Ari, for your insights coming from the branding perspective. This has really been an interesting conversation. And I think to just wrap it up, what I think I learned as an individual is prioritize branding, prioritize marketing, but above all, your product has to be good. Your product has to be what you say it is, right? Branding can be a waste. Marketing can be a waste if your product is not good, right? So these are some of things I have learned, and I know that our audience has learned also a lot. This again has been a very, very interesting conversation, and I want to say thank you for joining today. I don't know if you have any last words, or parting words. Let's use that for us. Anyone has parting words?
I don't think there's any new thing I want to say we've not said before. The only thing there is as a business, you have to show up every day. Marketing, branding, product is not something you do once. Storytelling, for instance, is not something you do once and you wait to see if it works. No, keep doing it. Show up every day. Keep pushing content. Keep talking to people, and then over a period of time, you assess that strategy and then see how you can tweak. But once you give a gap in your showing up, people move on. And when you come back to try to convince them to come back with you, it's a long haul. It shows you're inconsistent. And people don't like inconsistency. Nobody cares about your product. They care about their money. So you have to make them or show them why they should hand over their money to you or why they should care about your product.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you so much. I'll say it's a wrap from here. Once again, thank you. Log10 brought this conversation to you. Log10 is a marketing agency for businesses who wish to thrive. Everything from content marketing to performance marketing to creative media services and product marketing is what we do for startups and businesses really. Thank you so much for joining. We would like to have another conversation with you, and I hope that the next time we call on you, you'll be happy to accept our invitation for a conversation like this. Thank you so much. It's a wrap. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah. Bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for having us.
Bye.
Yes, bye. Thank you.